And Luna in Sag. This is a moon day, so let's bring in the blessing of the goddess Luna, the goddess of the moon, her courage, her growth with love, her fertility, her manifesting abilities. I have actually something. Wait, I'm recording. And my mama made me a great cup of coffee. But I didn't let her know I'm recording. So this is actually something, it's a sort of an energy reading because it's something that some of you need to hear. And it came up to me this morning. I've been dealing with a lot of people, been trying to put me in sex trafficking, also women, and some of these people are extorted, threatened, tortured. So it's not about blame and shame. Okay, you gotta know all sex work is sex espionage, so they are all spies, or more to say rats. And again, no judgment, but this MK Ultra needs to go down. And a lot of people, have been posting a caricature about climbing up the ladder and how for many women it looks like climbing up the ladder is reaching down, okay, for everybody knows what. Which is actually, if you're a guy, or if you're a girl, even that's your thing. To get it that way is depleting. It's either depleting for your fertility, it's depleting for your abundance, depleting for your penis, man, and your sperm count. Okay, ask the Dutchies. There have been generations and generations of satanic ritual abuse, and they needed to procreate with other people. And a lot of babies that come from rape, okay, with the rape trauma. And all that red light district is sex espionage. I'm sorry to let you down. I mean, when my father Dutch, okay, when he took my mama for a date, he took her also to see that red light district. Okay, maybe he didn't know how to express himself, but whatever. It wasn't considered a sleazy move because that's a touristic attraction. It's like a part of the city. They're married for 40 years. Okay, it was not disrespectful or anything like that. But the thing is that the more I learn about MK Ultra, satanic ritual abuse, the survivors, the more I understand what is actually going on. It's not a thing against sex work. We cannot have sex work, sex positive sex work. We do not abolish slavery, rape, MK Ultra, satanic ritual abuse, and all of these financial violence steps. Okay, so Pluto has been doing its last phases in Capricorn, and many people try to turn it against people, try to force them into these things, because these things are losing their power, and rightfully so. Okay, rightfully so. Detaching from your sexuality during sex, even if it's not sex work, is actually highly malefic, depletes your entire system. There's a reason why the tantric practice sex the way they practice sex, okay? There's a reason why they do it that way. It's health reason, it's connection to divinity reasons, but it's also your very health, okay? After the Me Too, I worked for a business, international business, that sells sex positive sex workshops. It's not about people getting naked. It's about basically reconnecting people. The beginning was women, then also men, to their self-pleasure abilities, to even have willing consent with themselves, okay? People did not even have a willing consent with themselves. And I don't say this as an outsider observing. I say this as a person that even when I looked at myself, okay, even when I was self-pleasuring, I was not fully connected with myself. As much as I held no shame around sexuality and so on, it's something that was very prevalent. People not fully connected with themselves. And that does have effect, okay? These habits do have effect on our health system. It can have effect on how you smell. If you have candida, they have effect on your sperm count. Of course, how you eat as well. And I know right now for people it's difficult to have access to food. But I also want to let you know that what you fear would happen to your children if you won't do it so and so and so, that would happen to your children. So that's something very, and I say this because I remember Jaguar Wright saying that she got into that when she was pregnant, she had a child. And a lot of people try to impregnate people on purpose, okay? And I say people for the right reason. If you were born with a womb and you're a man, then that can, that's even more susceptible, unfortunately, okay? Whether it's the lady boys and the boys ladies. And so some of you may need to hear what I have to say. And I'm going to go to an old Lada Duncheva teaching about energy and abundance. She placed this teaching for monogamous couples, but you can absolutely adjust it to non-monogamous couples. There is the role of yin and yang. So let's say if you are the yin partner, and I'm adjusting it to all genders, okay? If you're the yin partner, you need to have some wealth in your pocket. It doesn't have, and I'm adjusting it to an our time, it doesn't have to be money, okay? It doesn't have to be money. It can be resources, it can be land, it can be a house, okay? When my mama divorced my father, she said, I'm keeping the child, I'm keeping the house. Her parents really contributed a lot to the purchase of the house and was not staying homeless. And I'm not asking a penny from you. Okay? That was a peaceful divorce. No lawyer, no that, okay? She said, I'm keeping the house, I'm keeping for the child, and I'm not asking a penny from you. Okay? I'll let you go. Financially, I'll let you to live your life and to, with all respect, and even that was unfortunately very challenged, because even when you have the house, then there is the environment, and people try to get at you or to get at your child. It can be tough, but from her perspective, she did everything that she could do to remain in that situation, okay? So you got to have some resources. That's your resources. Okay, that's you. That's your survival, okay? And for some people, they don't even have that. And you watch my videos about exorcism to get that, okay? Watch my videos about exorcism. Also watch Butterfly Goddess. She uploaded a video today that I think is very complimentary to my videos, and she goes to the ancestors and the grandmother. Whether you're a man or a woman, okay, go watch her channel. She's great with giving messages from ancestors. And so if you're the yin partner, you need to have some assets of your own, okay? Not to be shared with anyone, okay? The original rules for Islam, for example, is that when man marries woman, she needs to have separate bank account, and she needs to have a home and land, that even if he marries another woman, even if he leaves her or divorces her, this is hers. He cannot know what's in her account. Okay, unfortunately, it's not actually being practiced, and they marry children sometimes, but that is for a reason. Okay, and that reason is your root chakra. You need to have your root chakra in check, because then you can attract, then you can focus and relax on your yin chakras. Okay, you can support yourself, and this is for the economy also have to change what to allow. Okay, you can support yourself, you can relax into your yin chakra, and this is your creative chakra. Then you can bring your yang partner, and your yang partner, and you might switch the roles between you. Okay, but your yang partner, they usually have more of that root. Okay, they complement your root, and they raise it up. Okay, so they might make more money than you, or they might have more assets than you, or whatnot. Okay, because they focused on the yang chakra, and you nourish them with the yin. You hold the water. Okay, what happens when you hold the water? They can go up to the solar chakra, the I am, and they can express themselves in the world. Okay, you provide for the solar chakra, and then nourished by you, you hold for the yang. Okay, and they hold for your yin. You don't have to you don't have to, how did the butterfly goddess say this? You don't have to get your last $2. You don't have to get your last $2. Okay, you don't have to spend all your money. Okay, go ahead, spend on your man. I mean, I'm like, yeah, buy vacations, buy houses, whatever. But you don't have to reach a point where you have to spend your $2. Okay, and this is the boundary. This is the boundary, because you can be generous with your 10%, but you cannot be generous with more than your 10%. Okay, you cannot be generous with money you don't have. You cannot get debt. If you get into debt for your partner, you are both dragging each other down. Okay? And the things that you fear that will happen, that's not going to save. That's not the move that's going to save. That's challenging. That's difficult. Okay? Maybe you both need to rebel. Okay? But the thing is, you don't want to get to your $2. That you hold the water. But this is also, you hold the water, you got to protect this water that you hold, and you're protecting this for you and for your family, okay? For you and for your man, for you and for your children, because you got to hold the water. If you're the person holding the space, sometimes you're the man, okay? If you're a place of containment and there's so much so you can contain, the boundaries need to be set, because otherwise you're depleting your own yin and your partner might not know it. Okay, sometimes the men or women, they feed on that nourishment, okay? And they feel contained, but sometimes they don't know that you're depleted. They don't know how you feel. You can watch for a Jewel with Truth in Aspect Astrology when she talks about the moon in the 12th house, okay? Moon in the 12th house. This is a shout out to Moon Aquarius. Okay, because y'all have been taking that from me perhaps, and I'm not even aware of that. Moon in the 12th house, there could be someone who holds the water for you, but if you're the 12th house person, you don't know how to feel. And that can drain, but it's also up to the moon person to say, it's up to the person who's holding the waters to say, hey, I'm getting depleted right now. I need to take time for myself. And oftentimes is resources. When I need to take time for myself, okay, when my landlord asked me if I sleep with my mom, I had to take all the rent and buy myself, whether it's a new bra, whether it's food, whether it's some nourishing food, whether it's some essential oils, all of this. It wasn't because I was plain. It was because I needed to reinvest in myself, because that depleted all my yin. That depleted all my psyche. I became murderously raged. Okay? Not only will I'm not going to be a murderer, okay? But I am going to set these boundaries, and not only you're not going to get more money with that extortion, or sex worker money, that extortion, you're gonna get depleted, because you depleted my yin. I'm gonna withdraw all that back. You deplete my yin, I'm gonna withdraw no woman for you, no woman for you. And I'm gonna say it right. You sold the entire city to people who do satanic ritual abuse. Get the children out. I told them, where are the caves? Get the children out. And I started connecting with people, so we can get an army to get the children out when we find out the caves. This is no air talk. It's underground talk. Okay? And you got houses. These children are going to need to be housed. Not by the welfare. Okay? But the Itamar Lirons who decide which is kidnapped. Okay? You see, you got to hold that yin. So you can't go to the $2, because if you deplete your own root, okay, and the $2 can be the land, the $2 could be the housing, the $2 they can be many things. When I was homeless in Netherlands, I had my essential oils. I had food in the shelter. I had this in the shelter. People asked me, make a list of what you need. I said vitamins and essential oils, because I made, even in the freezing cold in the bed when I was walking in Amsterdam, I was making, because we were forced to walk entire day. I was making for this essential oil blend to keep me alive and to get me out of this situation. And so for the lady that was hosting me in the Shabbat dinner, okay, because I went there to separate the milk from the meat to absorb some iron. Okay, I don't eat kosher usually, but I just went there to absorb some iron because I was getting delicious food in the shelter. So I wouldn't ask for what I get, right? But I had my $2 were the essential oils that are the essence to change, transform my thought patterns, transform my behavioral patterns. And she said, well, you inspire me with your connection to yourself. You're so connected to yourself. And connection is sometimes, okay, is that important? Because later when I needed to have money being donated to me, that money could go through them. And then that would fund for my flight and would fund for 3 days in an Airbnb. That and that. It was me collecting this funding. Okay? Fundraising, yes. Okay, so that was my $2. Now it's time when the currency is changing. I don't know what your $2 is. And they might instill social credit scores so they can take you off your credit, okay? You got to rethink your $2. And I've been an activist of doing that since before 2008. Okay, I've been the one telling you if you can't buy land and a house with cash, you're not in work, you're in slavery. Gone are the days like when my mama worked for, my grandmama worked for chocolate factory for 30 years. She lost her feet. Okay? She lost her feet. She loved her job. She was well treated. She lost her feet. Diabetes. Okay? When I began to work for McDonald's, I was vegetarian. I didn't know about veganism. I was vegetarian when I worked for McDonald's. Okay? And I had no credit card when I worked for Leomi Card, okay, for the credit card company. 4.5 years. What was I supposed to do? Lose my feet? I couldn't work anymore. One day I couldn't work anymore. Couldn't stand. I literally couldn't stand. My body couldn't stand. And then at the Leomi Card, my throat began to ache. So I began to lose the bodily organs with which I can work. Okay? That was my embarking to holistic medicine. I forgot, goddamn, I know what I'm talking about, okay? So when you hold the water, and look at me, okay? I talk about the root, then I hold the water, then what I begin to talk about, the I am, my boundaries. It's natural. As I'm telling you, it's natural, okay? So you hold this water. Now your partner can be who they are. You gotta still hold the water for them to be who they are. Now they are who they are in the world. What happens? They make more money. They make more resources. They make more connections. They make more wealth. Where it's coming to both real roots. Okay? And sometimes they switch in roles, so they have to hold the water. Otherwise, it's not so... You're going to get depleted. Okay? Maybe it's one person's more doing the containment, and, if his moon chases your moon, then he's bringing you all the courtship and the attention, you hold the water, and so on, but the other way around. But the thing is, you still got to hold the water for each other. And your partner can be who you are, who he is, or he inspires you to be who you are. You're also more creative, you express yourself in the world. Okay, now what's going to happen? Your heart opens. Okay? Your heart opens and inspire their own heart opening. Now you love each other. When they express that love, to the throat chakra, they speak. They express that love. And you develop your intuition. Okay? They express themselves. And you feel loved, you feel safe, you feel nourished, you feel you can rely on your man because you know, or your woman, because you know who you are, you know who they are. Okay? Now you can grow your intuition, you can grow your connection with the divine. But here how it doesn't work. If you, both of you, all genders, okay, make money off of your partner in a way that depletes their waters, y'all ain't going to get abundant. You're not going to grow. And you can set that for non-monogamous relationships. I understand why people say if you invest it in two, then you concentrate the energy and so on and so forth. It's a lovely teaching. Okay? That I want to accommodate also for people non-monogamous. And sometimes that can work that way. If with non-monogamy, the exo lovers, okay, the lovers that are one lover can facilitate, and this is happening a lot. The third lover, for example, or one of your lovers, they can solve problems in your relationships. So instead of that being a cheating, this is what Esther Perel got. That was her teaching for monogamous couples as well. If somebody's cheating, they're not your enemy. They know all the reasons why you were thinking to leave your man or your woman. Okay? They know for all the reasons. They know for all the things that they were expected to replenish for the yin that they depleted at home. They know, and I'm a person, people try to flirt with me, people try to cheat with me. They always end up getting either to the next step of commitment, okay, or getting the shit exposed. Okay? Because I knew very well, I didn't know what my commitment style was, but the thing is, if somebody that is in a relationship and they claim to be monogamous, it is a relationship, to try to flirt with me, I need to see what's going on here, because what the dynamic is here, what the dynamic is at home, if you're gonna marry me, I'm going to be what she is to you. Okay? And you gotta give me a very good reason why it's gonna be otherwise, and that reason you cannot give married and you cannot give in a relationship. Yeah, and also, if you've been in a relationship for a long time, you're gonna need some time for yourself. You're gonna need some time. You're gonna need maybe to date around or to get to know, but it's just to be free, you know? So it's no reason for me to cheat with anybody. And if you get me for try to get me to that point, she's gonna know. She's gonna know. Okay? With reverence. But if I get for what's the reason, what's going on there, you're gonna know. I had a friend of a friend talking to me about physics, and one of the ways to get to me is physics. And it was a lovely conversation, and indeed he saw in me, okay, it was not seeing me a one-night stand or something like that. And I did not know, it was very weird to me because I did not assume the worst on him, but I was like, I remembered he had a girlfriend. And they were at that stage where it's like either to go the next step or not. I didn't know that. And he tried to get on with me. Then he talks about his girlfriend. I said, well, you were in love with your girlfriend, and I see that he's trying to stifle me. Okay? Not in a violent way, but he's like, with going overboard, not really paying attention to the me there. And I'm like, darling, if you've been doing that with your girlfriend, I understand why you're cheating, because you depleted her yin. I won't be able to provide for you more. Okay, the little the next couple of weeks he proposed to her. He understood that is dynamic he will have to work on himself for having good relationships. They got married. They have a child. Okay, maybe more than a child. I don't know. But this is how it can work for non-monogamy. I mean, why would I get into a sick bed? If somebody's flirted with me, if somebody's showing me with love, okay, I got to see the dynamic as well. Whether they're married or not, I still got to see the dynamic. You could be single. Okay, I still got to see the dynamic. I didn't go and spend, I don't know, for the money that I hardly had with welfare to try to curate my relational trauma. Okay, in both private sector and subsidized sector. I invest in myself. It's going to meet me in business. It's going to meet me everywhere. Okay, so you got to see what the dynamic. But definitely, if you're profiting off of your partner in a way that depletes their yin, okay, this is both for the ladies that don't have their own thing. Even people who are doing sugaring, okay, which I think is candida. You're growing candida there, and that's going to affect your nervous system, and that's going to affect you on a really long term. I'm not here to school anybody, but it's just from sex positive sexuality view. This literally is what it does. Okay, you're growing candida. Unless it somehow works that you really have such good flow with this person and you enjoy sleeping with them and they make you wet anyhow. So otherwise you're growing candida, and that's gonna cost you. Okay, that's gonna cost. I had a friend that had the candida, and she was combating with for years and years, and you gotta eat the most expensive food. Okay, you guys, it's the organic food, it's the whole foods, it's the this, it's the that, it's the thing you don't even think about, and you cannot have like anything gluten for a while or anything sugar. Like, it's really expensive. Okay, but even for those ladies that say I do sugaring, I do that, they're not sitting waiting for the money to rain on them. Okay, they got their own jobs, they got their own thing. So again, with I don't think a job is something that gets you like that is the root, but you definitely need to have for your own wealth that is secured and never going to go to for the other person, because if they're profiting off of your yin in a way that you are depleting your yin in slavery basically, then they're going to discard you. That's the first thing, okay, and they're going to be pimping somebody else, which is the next thing, okay, and sometimes you might find yourself, dead, like literally dead. So you can't allow yourself to deplete your yin. You can't allow yourself to deplete your yin, and you have some good material proof for that, because when the money ain't in your pocket, or when the resource is sent by you, people try to get you for your $2. The case Itamar Aron was trying to get my $2. Trying to get me to my $2, and he was trying to get my $2. And that was like, when the money is depleted, the man is gone. Okay? Or the woman is gone. And he had no reason to do that. I was making welfare, darling. I was making welfare. Some English classes back then he made it stop. Behind my back. You depleted me from my job, and now what do you want? You depleted my yin. Now I can't be with you, not even in the astral. It's gonna grow candida. And then he tried to shift into all types of energies. If it would work for a little while, because I wouldn't know it was him, and then he would try to shift back into himself, and I'm like, no. But I got to know some interesting figures. Okay. And then you write 2 messages to the person, they're not commenting. And we're like, of course they're not commenting. This was not them. Okay, they're not. It was not them. Okay. Or if it was, it went for something that was not really, they were not really, okay, then they're still like, they go back to themselves, they go back to the energy. It's reasonable, right? But I did get to have interesting interactions with people. Like, who knows how much of my channel is just Itamar switching roles, of like shifting. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But when you deplete for someone's yin, that they can't be with you. If you try to maneuver, if they, our genitals, whether it's your penis, if you're not having a hard on with someone, it could be either that they are worried about something, you sense that and you're attuned, or it's not for you. I mean, if the girl's not for you, might not have hard on. It's not like that. Not always. Having a hard on doesn't mean she's for you. But the more you're connected with your sexuality, you're gonna you have wisdom there, like everybody. And vagina, she's smart. She is smart. She's going to get candida. Even if you self-pleasure yourself and you don't pay attention to being tantric with yourself, she's going to say, no, I don't like that. I don't like it's higher treatment. I don't like that. And people try to trick you or to mind control you to, you know, the time where people speak with their vagina and stuff like that. So people try to mind control and get into that, like really people shifted into ancestors, into spirit guides, into telepathy, into whatnot. Just you talk with your body to try to get at that as well. Like, okay, we have some noise on the radar. And when and you need to understand that those things are not leading to abundance of each side, okay? Because what Itamar did, very likely he's in troubles. Very likely he's in troubles, okay? And he wasn't. In the beginning, he wasn't. I was, had money in my pocket. I was not worried. I said the money comes. When the deal is good, the money comes. you know? And that's my business view today. When the deal is good, the money comes. When somebody offers me a deal and he offers me a product and I say, you know what, I like your offer. When the deal is good, the money will come. I'm not worried. So don't even talk to me about discount. Don't talk to me about discount. If this deal is good for me, the money will come. Okay? That's my motto. And it's true. The deals that were off, it's true. Money gets depleted, it's true. What happened with my landlord? He asked me if I said, Mama, what happened to the rent? What happened to the rent? Got depleted. Why? Because I wasn't, wearing like a fancy bra. Because if I don't get the good bra, then I don't wear a bra. So you thought you're missing out on something that you could extort. So I took that money on a Jack Cuba. My grandmama, after the chocolate factory, she worked for Gidon Oberson, okay, and that Gotex. And they had imports for everyone, including a Jack Cuba. So I got myself a Jack Cuba. That's almost half the rent. I housed my boobs. I've been raising that property's value for 2.5 years. You go and mess with that. I get depleted. And that check's still running around. It's not... It ain't got nothing to it. Okay? If y'all got MK Ultra and you checked that and didn't do anything, you're not going to do anything, okay, that's okay. But if you try to do these things, I'm going to make sure that even when I leave, those things in this property, on this land, even if the property is ruined, on this land, none of that. With blood of life, none of that. People go get to this property, they think they're being genocided, they think they're being not. How the women treated, how the children treated. Very simply put. They ain't nothing to it. Okay? So again, but also if you rely on your partner, if your partner is an ATM to you, okay? If your partner is an ATM to you, you are depleting your own yin. You're creating your own candida. My middle name is Tali. My Dutch father gave me this name, and this name is Israeli. For the fresh dew in the morning. I was born in the old structure of the hospital, okay? And he could see the fresh dew in the morning, and he gave me the name Tali. Shirley Tali Jungblut. Okay? For many years I neglected that name. But that name is as important as my first name. It's bringing in the fresh water. Can't deplete the water, can't deplete yin. I'll bring in the fresh water. You don't want to mess with that. Because without the fresh water, it means if you don't have the dew in the morning, it means you ain't got no grass growing. You ain't got no vegetation. And what do I do in the desert? I build the half moons. They're going to hold the waters to revegetate, to reforest the area. This is what I'm meant to do. It's a part of what I'm meant to do. My legacy in Jupiter sign and with Jupiter in Capricorn sign. It's fallen, okay? But when I work to bring in the water, Jupiter opposing Moon, to bring in the water, to reforest for the soil, then I regrow the trees, I regrow the forests. And Saturn in sign Scorpio, transformation, the deep well water, I bring them back. This city of the seven wells, Beersheba. Okay, but if the Palestinians that lived here did infanticide and femicide, they depleted the deep waters. And then they got occupied, whether it's British mandate, Ottomanic mandate, Israeli occupation. These people, they come and go. It's your habits that can either deplete yin or not deplete yin. And I see it on myself. When I work too hard and I deplete my yin, I get sick. I get sick. And I feel unsupported. Then I get myself some cedarwood oil and I laugh it off and I relax and I retrieve my yin. Okay, and I get myself some geranium and I retrieve my yin. Because I can do it all by myself. I'll get my lower back will be like, I can fucking get up. When it was not yet election for me to rent a property and I was staying by people, I literally could not get up. My lower back was so hard. The body is so smart. The body is so smart. I literally could not get up. And the woman that hosted me, she used to have this before. Her husband is vegan, very activist, but she needed some meat. And she had depletion for her back. 6 months she couldn't work. Then she decided for her health, she's going to eat some meat. Okay, good quality meat. Then she began to recover. And so she knew that I'm not playing it. I literally could not get up. Then what happens when you have that? You have to sway. You have to do the things that are actually swaying for your waist. And those movements, they look a little bit, erotic. So I'm not joking with you, okay? But the time where it was not time for me to get the fuck up and rent a property, it was not good election, my back wouldn't move and I had to retrieve the movement, this kind of like cat-like movement that is yin movement, okay? It was very funny because she literally told me she dreamed her husband had like choices and he was re-choosing her. So this is, you see, it's the beautiful couple. But that was the situation. She was just hosting me in the house and then she felt it's no longer compatible to host me in the house. What happened is I got my back hurt and I had to do this cat-like movement, and then her husband had to feed me, okay? So that, and she used to be non-monogamous. She later became monogamous. And so that was really funny. And I had to get out of there, and I was staying with her ex, okay? And he was like, I give it a timetable and so on, but then the election came and I managed to find the property. That's the story. Like, this really is how these things work. So you see, when you try to negate for what your will and consent is, regardless of your genitals, okay? Regardless of your genitals. You think, I do this for the money, I do this for security. No, you're depleting yin and then you have to take at your root. Then you have to get into more depth. You get into addictions. When you deplete your root, you get into addictions. It's true, addictions are to do with connection, but you gotta have housing first. Okay? I learned this the hard way. I learned this for not having a house, okay? I was saying that. But that house also has to be a supportive environment for you. If you're persecuted where you live, or if you can't live alone, in a village where a person, man or woman, cannot live alone, all the children born from rape. That's what I told my makler, okay? And his son. Father told his son, actually. You don't get to ask me if I sleep with my mom and then, you know, if you have some fantasy, you gotta keep it in your